Hi, and welcome back to the Little Scoop podcast. In this episode, we chat with Curtis from the Summer Wind Catering Co., but he's got a lot more going on than just that. Caterer, car wash owner, and community cornerstone. What started as cooking charcoal chicken for 250 cousins turned into a thriving catering company, a bustling car wash, and now he's got a new location opening soon for the Summer Wind Catering Co. with takeout barbecue. Curtis also opens up about his sobriety, how recovery fuels everything he does, and why showing up authentically for his family, his team, and his town is what drives it all. This is a wonderful episode that you don't want to miss.
All right. Okay, welcome to Little Scoop Podcast.
Thank you.
We are here today with Curtis from the Summer Wind Catering Co., but we recently found out there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that most people probably don't know about.
There are a few other projects that are always happening, yes.
Yeah. So one thing we were curious about was the Soapbox car wash. Is that your baby or is that your wife's?
That's a good question.
No.
Wow. So that was, how much of that would you like to hear about? Because
dive into
how much you want to share?
I heard about car washes about 12 years ago. I started hearing about that. My mom had a boyfriend that was directly involved with one in Lindsay, Ontario. And I was always talking to him about business, and I was working for other people at the time, but he told me about how amazing that type of business is, and then described why. He's like, he says that he would be working at this car wash and people would be coming in and out like crazy, pumping money in, spraying off their car and leaving. And he goes, that is like the best thing I've ever heard. Because he's got a very manual job, and it's like he has to be on site and doing that stuff. So I guess that's what made him think about that in such a positive way. And then basically I just immediately started doing research, and I just like got obsessed with it. And then as my wife was sleeping, I would whisper that to her into her and then so fast that happened for about 10 years. And then
dreaming of car washes. Every day she's like, babe, why don't I wake up?
I was gently planting that idea for a very long time. And then one day I came home from work. I was doing an event or something, and I came home and my wife came out to me and she said, "You're never going to guess what's for sale." And I said,
"No way.
I don't know what you mean." And she showed me this listing on her phone of the car wash that we currently own.
So cool.
And she said, "I think that we're going to put an offer on it." And I said,
I love it.
"Who are you and what have you done with my wife?"
She's like the subliminal messaging work.
She is the sensible, down-to-earth, level-headed one.
Yes.
And I'm like, let's go do this, this, and this, and this. And then we'll just do this on the side for fun. And then we'll move to the Cayman Islands. And we'll stay there. But so that was a super exciting thing for me. And then we had a heck of a time trying to put that deal together. Like, we couldn't get funding from any lender, so no banks would lend on it because of, well, there are no numbers showing for car washes. It's largely a cash business, as most people know. I don't know how much of this I should say out loud. We did a bunch of work towards it. In that we sat in the parking lot and counted cars for a few days to try to guess how many washes per week or per day. And then we guessed the average wash, and we put together a pitch deck for that, and we had it funded by Business Development Canada.
That's so cool.
And they've been great to us, and we were able to purchase that business. We own the land there as well, and then we rebuilt the corporation, and we spent a lot of time there and spraying out the bays and talking to people and saying hi. And it's amazing how much I frightened people at the start, because I would come around and be like, "Hey, thanks for coming in here today." And they're looking at me like, people aren't used to getting good customer service, and especially
in the car wash,
in that environment. So I guess they're largely used to me now. Yeah. And since the catering has kind of gone absolutely wild. My wife has taken over this role, and she is there every day, refilling change machine, like changing the garbage cans, saying hi to people. And she is a director of marketing from a very large corporation out of Mississauga.
Currently.
Previously. Okay. And so her roles have just changed so much in our life together, and she's killing it.
That's so
she's
cool.
Such a smart, like, powerful woman. Like, she's amazing, and
that's really neat.
It's been really neat for her to show our daughter as well, like just that we can easily transition into something harder, or that's much different than what we're used to, and we can be awesome at it.
Absolutely.
And it's
I think it's so cool too that she's the one who saw the listing originally. Like, you this was your dream, and you could have so easily seen the listing, but it wasn't. It was her, and now she's the one there every day. Like, that's just a really neat story. So I think we definitely want to know more about the catering. That is mainly, I think,
Thank
what
you.
people know you for.
Yes.
Especially the oysters and the seafood. But we are learning that there's so much more to what you do. And there's a new little business venture that you're pursuing right now that we want to hear about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The catering has been an amazing thing. I've been near food and am passionate about food for a very long time. I learned how to start cooking charcoal barbecue when I was around 6 years old. I have a very large family with 250. I had at the time 250 cousins. It might be 350 now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an old farm family, the Harmer family from Burlington and Dundas, Ontario, and we have had 65 or 66 years, I don't remember, of family reunions.
Wow.
So they developed this
crazy.
barbecue system that they custom built,
Yeah.
and you had to start it with 160 pounds of charcoal at a time, and we were using entire bottles of lighter fluid to like start this thing up.
Wow.
And then they built these custom racks that it takes 2 people to flip. But we can put like 40 halves of chicken on it at a time. And then
That's
ever since I
crazy.
can remember, I wanted to be involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was the head cook of the family reunion for a very long time. And so I wanted to be part of it. So he would be like, okay, now you get to this year, in your first year, you can, we transferred all the chicken when it was done in a wheelbarrow. So you had, so my first job
Designated
ever,
wheelbarrows.
I've told people before that my first job was moving bags of charcoal, but it was actually lining the wheelbarrow with tinfoil. So that the
my goodness,
fresh
yeah,
cooked
just-
chicken can go into there, so we can wheel it to the the
That's
buffet
crazy.
table for these 250 people.
Wow.
And so it started there. First, I could line the wheelbarrow, and then I could lift the 20-pound bags of charcoal. So they were getting me to move them from here to there. I wasn't allowed to pour them in yet,
Right.
but
Not yet.
But we were doing like little jobs like that. And then eventually, as soon as I was strong enough, maybe like 10, or I was always a pretty big guy, so
say.
like 10
I
or
don't know
11.
if you can see the height
years
difference
old,
here. Not too well.
10 or 11 years old, I was able to like start flipping the grates, and it was hard for me, but I was like, I
Gotta
wanted
do
to
it.
learn how to do it. And then I had no idea how much fire control there was involved in having this much charcoal burning at the same time. So I learned all those little lessons, and my dad passed away when I was 19. And so I took over the responsibility of this, and the elders of the family would come over and like make sure that I'm doing a good job, and they'd be like, hey, you gotta
Yeah.
do this thing over there, and like make sure you're getting air into this corner because this is going slower than the other chicken. And we're doing like, we're talking
Tons.
100, 120, 150 halves at a time, so it's a lot.
Yeah.
And everybody wants good chicken. And so after a couple of years of that, I guess I was probably 26 or 27, and they finally started leaving me alone a little bit. And I never felt bothered by
Yeah.
these people because I love them, and these are like confident men that I've grown up with my whole life. Like, I love these guys.
It's like
and-
constructive criticism.
yeah. But they like would just go and sit in their lawn chairs, and they're like
And
sitting in
watch.
the shade and like having a beer. And every once in a
Yeah.
while they'd be like, "Hey, is there a piece for me to try yet?" And-
Aw.
but they just kind of left me to it, and that's kind of
trusted
like
you.
I've just always had this charcoal chicken thing around me in my life. And so when I relaunched my catering business, I was doing like chef dinners and smaller catering and cocktail events because I was a bartender for quite a few years as well in the city. And then when I came here, I just wanted to cook barbecue. And so I bought like a little Weber kettle and I bought a little commercial grade 10 by 10 tent. And I got as little insurance as I could. And I went out and started like selling chicken burgers basically like on
love
the
it.
side of the road. And
Yeah.
anybody that would have me on their property, I would just like bring my stuff over.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Very humble beginnings.
it is. And then I started getting into catering, and I would be like, Kyle Jones from Flossie's
Yes,
actually
love
used
Kyle.
to invite me to weddings. And then
Okay.
he started getting so busy at his food truck that he couldn't complete some of the larger events. So he'd be like, hey, I've got this guy, Curtis, he can come
Yeah.
and cater your event for you. And basically I would call these people, and they'd be like, hey, where can I pay you? And like, when will you be there on time?
Like, I guess
and
I'm showing
like,
up.
yes, thank you. And I was saying prices to these people that like at the time, to me, I was like,
Yeah. Probably felt uncomfortable. Like,
it's
you're like,
so
"Whoa."
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never asked for this much money from people, but like we're putting on great parties, and I
Yeah,
know that
absolutely.
we're passionate about it, and I'm always feeling confident that I'm delivering great value.
Yeah.
it just kind of it snowballed over the past few years as well. Like I left my full-time job in tech. I was working full-time while I had this little catering company slinging burgers on the side of the road. And then I got a bad boss in one of the tech companies, and it made me want to leave. And I needed to pursue something full-time. My wife, I told her, I think I have to leave. And she said, I think you should too. That's great. And I pursued the catering full-time, and that was like 4 years ago now.
Wow.
And I never, ever imagined where this company would be when I was cooking single burgers, selling them for $8. And now our company is on its way to the moon.
Yeah.
And we're doing so much. I don't even know how many events we did last year.
That's a lot. You were everywhere.
I was
Literally
everywhere.
every event I saw,
We
Curtis
were
was
doing
there.
pop-ups, and our Instagram is going crazy because
Yep.
I hired a social media manager a couple of years ago. It's been the best. Shout out Ruby Castle.
Nice.
She's okay.
Yeah.
She's okay.
It's going to the moon, but she's
It's
okay.
going to the moon, but she's okay. Now, because of all that, we've been fortunate enough to be operating our business out of the Cape, the wedding venue in town. It's like the best venue in Prince Edward County, and best people to work with, Jake and Elizabeth over there. But we outgrew that space, and now we are fortunate to have signed a lease on a brand new 2,300 square foot production
cool.
facility that is directly behind our car wash that
Very
I was
convenient.
just talking about. And we are building a takeout barbecue style restaurant.
Literally
in the front.
cannot.
We're going to cook
So
all the
excited.
old recipes, the charcoal chicken the old way that I learned how, and we're going to be slanging chicken every day.
Yes.
I cannot, absolutely
Like
cannot
the
wait.
dream job.
Yeah, and this summer it's
So
going to
good.
be huge.
And
Yes.
the summer's going to be huge.
Yes. Because he's going to be ready for the summer.
We are going to be ready.
Confidently
I am
saying this.
trying.
Yeah.
I'm really nervous about saying this out loud, but it is June 1st is going to be charcoal chicken available at our
Love
place.
Dropped just here.
Yes,
Just
like that was news that was
official.
just dropped. But I will say something that's really awesome about our community is I feel like those listening and hearing that, I could probably name 15 people right off the bat that would show up for you in a heartbeat to help get this there for June 1st.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I have
like-
already the best people involved that could be. And
So excited.
as we sit here, there are 4 or 5 different guys in there with different trades, and it's all happened.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So
It's
excited to see it.
exciting, nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
All the feelings.
Yes.
Yes. As new things typically are. But
Totally.
Yeah.
How did you guys come and end up in the county?
That's a good question.
Oh, my wife took me on a 3rd year anniversary road trip to Prince Edward County. It was my first time ever being here. And when we were leaving, I hadn't heard much about the county, and all she told me on the way here was, I think you're really going to like this place.
Aw.
And we basically we rented, what is it? The Ferg is a
Okay.
Airbnb just down the street from our current house. And we stayed the night there, and we were like adventuring. I was taking my wife out to wineries, and we went to driving downtown Picton. The Royal Hotel wasn't there yet or anything, but it was still like really vibrant
Yeah.
and really amazing. There were tons of antique shops here at the time. This was in 2017.
Okay.
Our second day of our trip, we had nothing to do in the afternoon, and we were driving around. We look at real estate everywhere we go, driving up the street, and we saw this beautiful brick house, and I was stopped perpendicular to it, and the owner was walking out, and I said, "Hey, is this house still for sale?" And he goes, "Yeah, it is actually." I think I asked him how he was doing first, of course, but and I said, "Is this multiple units in that house?" And he goes, "Yeah, go and check it out. I'll be right up to see you." And first of all, like where we're from in Oakville, people
doesn't
don't do
happen.
that. I didn't know my neighbors or anything,
Yeah.
and you don't get invited to somebody's house really like
Right.
that. And I just loved it. I grew up in a very small community, so that made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked through it. It was like almost 95% renovated.
Wow.
And we both kind of looked at each other, and when we got back into the car after looking at it, and we were like, I think it was more of a feeling than any words. We just both
Yeah.
knew we had to
Yeah. That was the one.
had to do something about it, and so I drove my wife to a winery. I think it was Hinterland at the
Okay.
time, and we were both like talking about buying this house on the way there. We're like, we did not plan on buying a house on our wedding anniversary. Like, this is crazy.
Aw.
And we went back and knocked on the door of the house, and I told and the guy answered the phone. He goes, "What are you doing
Yeah.
here?" And I was like, "We'd like to put an offer on your house." And it was just a couple of weeks after that we closed. Not that we closed, but we confirmed the deal, and it
Confirmed
closed on
offers.
November
Yeah.
30th, 2017. And we used it as our cottage for a couple of years. We couldn't tell how we were going to come here. or how we were going to stay here. It was like, I think
The two worlds hadn't fully meshed yet.
I think
Yeah.
all of us that move here from somewhere away, expats, we'll
Yeah,
call us.
we are all expats
We'll
technically.
call us. We all try to figure out how we can make money here.
Yeah,
It's like, how do we do that?
totally.
Because this is a much slower pace of life, and like people don't honk at each other.
It's like
driving
island
down
town.
Main
It
Street,
really is
and
like an island
It
town.
truly is, and like island time is a real thing here sometimes. So that's I just enjoy every bit of that.
Absolutely.
And so it took a couple of years, but once my Lenka was pregnant and she was gonna go on mat leave, we decided to move here full time. We went back and forth a little bit because I was promoted in the tech job that I was working in, and so we bought a condo and moved back to Oakville. Moved into this place 2 months later. The pandemic happened, and I lost that job. And I was like, and we stayed in that condo for 3 months because we had just bought it. And I was like, what are we doing here now? Like, we can be in Picton with our house that we love there, and let's do that. And I think I'm pretty sure after that we just stayed and figured out how to make it work. Like, it was working largely remotely. And if she had to go into the office for important meetings, she would. And now we're here forever. I never want to move again.
I love it.
I'm ready to stay.
That's
Do you
so cool.
I know we're talking about the Summer Wind Catering Co, but like, do you ever miss your tech job or not at all?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I miss a steady paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Because
yes.
I don't.
Being an
You're an entrepreneur, so you get
is
it.
not for the faint of heart, especially in a tourist town. It can be challenging.
Peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah, we're peaks and valleys. That's where we're at. I don't miss the external pressure. I don't miss the high stakes that are involved with that external pressure. Like, the businesses that I was working for, I was reporting directly to the CEO at both, and so
A lot of pressure.
These are CEO like founders, and this is high pressure stuff. So I'm glad to have experienced that, and mostly it's so that I've learned and can apply never allowing somebody to feel the way that I was made to feel. Yeah, it's like, because I don't think that people, when they're applying pressure or they're rude or they're impolite in the way that they transfer the message, I don't think it's their fault all the time. I don't think it's malicious. But we can certainly watch tone, and we can treat people gently. And when we're training people, we can guide them gently to what we need for our own businesses or in our own life, right?
Have you felt like you're coming from a totally different area? You bought the business, Soapbox as well. Like, what were some of I don't want to say struggles, but what were some of the things that you guys really had to overcome, and how was it being part of the community here?
This was a very easy transition for me. The population of my hometown is 500 people, and I think it probably still is. So
it's half his cousins. So
there were a few cousins around. Yeah. The challenge of having the business was, I as a human being learned best through physical and emotional pain. And so I don't experience a lot of physical pain. So when we bought the car wash, we learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I was already fairly handy. I left out a bunch of my work history, but I've run a construction company before. And I've been in construction, and I consider myself fairly handy, and Lenka would maybe say that out loud too on record. But owning a mechanical based business, we have a 50% partner as well. So our friend Brandon, he lives in Toronto and runs his own company. So
very cool.
But yeah, we learned the hard way through that. And now I would walk into a business like that completely different. Yeah. So I don't know if it's if or when we get another one. If we ever did, I can walk into somewhere and know a lot more about, first of all, the pain that I'm going to feel, because it's going to happen no matter what. And maybe I would inspect the things that I knew about last time and
looking through a different lens.
That's right. Thank you for saying it that way. It's exactly it. Yes. I would look at it in a different lens.
Totally.
And then the other part of that question, when you say like how it was something about integrating with the community after. And directly through the business, it was incredible to watch how this happened. It took probably a month or two before people really started to notice a difference. But we landed in the paper at some point, like new owners in the car wash, And I would be walking around like spraying out the bays, and people would not even be coming in to use the car wash, but they would pull in off the street and come and say hi to me and introduce themselves. And that happened
Yeah.
like quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I'm
There
actually,
you go.
instead of the catering guy, they call me the oyster guy, which I'm
Yes.
also
See?
totally fine with. I think it's really fun.
Yes. How has that been, by the way? Because I feel like there was a shift in, I want to say availability, or like something happened that affected the oysters.
It's neat that you know about that.
Yeah. I don't know a lot, but I did hear
It's-
that there was like a season or something that had happened that had affected the availability. So how did that impact you?
There is, and
being here? Yeah.
That's a really great question, because a lot of people don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a disease that does not affect human beings that is affecting oyster populations in eastern and western Canada, and probably in eastern and western United States,
Mm-hmm.
and wherever oysters are produced. It's called MSX, and it is decimating populations. Now, that being said, like, we have not seen a service interruption in deliveries
Wow.
for the entire year last year.
Okay.
And there are still many great varieties of oysters happening, and there is government action on the East Coast,
Okay.
and working with large producers and smarter people than me in the oyster world that are trying to figure out how to breed this MSX virus out of the oyster populations, and that is actively happening right now.
Crazy.
So that's a really great thing, and we do plan on shucking quite a few oysters this year, probably 10,000 over the summer. And
Just a few.
yeah, just a few. After the
crazy.
5,000th one, though, it
Yeah.
doesn't even feel like anything. Like, it's like nothing. So
Can't even imagine.
no,
That is wild.
there are guys in this community that have shucked
Yeah.
over 1 million. So
Wow.
and
Crazy.
that is like legendary status.
Wow.
There is
Yeah.
one guy that I will name drop here right now. His name is Chef Charlie Day.
Okay.
And he's worked with us quite a bit. And that guy is
Just
an
quick.
oyster shucker extraordinaire.
mouthful.
World class
Wow.
oyster shucker, really amazing guy,
Very cool.
and a neat dude with
Yeah.
lots of tattoos.
Love it.
And he's kind of cute. He's okay. He's okay too.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm glad that we can talk about it. Because,
Yeah.
like, my oyster supplier is Diana Seafood. It's the largest oyster supplier in Canada,
Okay.
and they want the information to be transferred well.
Okay.
So yeah, I appreciate being able to talk about
Yeah.
that too.
Well, thanks for sharing. It's one of those things where I obviously, not having anything to do with that field, know very little about. So I'm glad that you're able to share and explain a little bit, because I mean, I'm newly venturing into enjoying oysters. So I
Good.
feel like it's good to know these things.
Totally.
Yeah. Very cool.
I can't wait for you to come to our new kitchen.
I
so
literally
can shuck
can't wait.
oysters for you.
I cannot wait.
It's gonna be great. Our grand opening party,
yeah.
we're going to see how many we can do in
Yes.
one day. We'll do like
That's
1,000 or
very
something.
so
probably.
cool.
Yeah, we'll do a lot.
There's
Yeah.
also like my daughter.
A
who's
baby.
crying.
She's such a cute baby. She can cry all she wants.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
She can come hang out with me too if you want.
It takes like the level of professionalism down a bit, but we're just being
Right?
real.
You know.
I'm good with that. I got fresh like amazing
Yes.
coffee when I came in here. So like,
Shout
this
out
is
Orange Brown Andre. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's his first shout out.
That
on
was
the
for
show.
Nice.
my husband's first shout out.
Yeah.
Owns a business in the county, hasn't been on.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe soon, man.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
There's
He
a
also
long
spent
line.
a solid hour setting up all of our audio, 3 microphones, laptop, camera, cell phone with mics. We did the lights.
That
Thanks,
might be-
Andre.
You did great.
You did great.
It looks good. Okay.
But tell us a little bit more about opening the Summer Wind Catering Co. Basically, this whole thing has been exploding for you. Do you think it's the people that you've been with, the events that you've been? Is it just you because you're a very special human? Like, what do you think has been?
Definitely not that.
Yeah,
It's
I'm just going to cut him off and say
definitely
I
not
think
that.
it is a huge part of that, because I have not met one person in Picton. If I've mentioned your name,
Who doesn't-
everyone loves you.
And does it like
Yeah.
everyone knows you?
Everyone knows you.
And that
You're
might
just
be-
a good dude.
Yeah.
You can accept it.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what to say to that. First of all,
Aw.
I am definitely around,
Yeah.
and I do try hard in life. So I'm glad that shows, and that people can recognize that. And I hope that people can be inspired by
Absolutely.
by that. And I want to be like so I've been sober for a really long time. That's very, very special to me. And I think that is probably the only reason why I'm able to do all the things that I do
Wow.
in this life, and why I can flip situations that seem negative into a positive in my mind, and I see setbacks as opportunities. And so that's just how I feel about that. I want to be like a guiding light for people that are suffering. I
You
think.
are like,
Yeah.
I
Thank
feel
you
that.
very much.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Do you mind? Like, I don't want to go too heavy into
I don't
this.
mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I think sobriety is
Yeah.
something that a lot of people struggle with, and it affects a lot of people. So can you just share a little bit about your experience and your journey to sobriety?
Yeah, well, I deeply suffered early in my life, and I always felt like doing drugs and drinking was. You're gonna see me cry today, by the way.
I might cry too,
Hey,
Curtis.
I know. I'm like,
But
I didn't know the side of you.
So I went through, like, I deeply suffered and found drugs and alcohol at a very young age. And I suffered enough where I was able to see through that and then put myself into a treatment center. I spent 110 days in a men's treatment center in Kettleby, Ontario, called The Ranch. And I stuck with 12-step programs. And to this day, I participate in meetings. I'm an international speaker at these 12-step meetings.
That's amazing.
And I've been to meetings in 8 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like
incredible.
such an important part of my life. And
Yes.
and my employees all know about what I went through. I talk to them openly about this. I don't share the war stories because it's not what it's about. It's about how I felt and why I wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important part. So if people see that I go around telling people that I'm sober so that they can see that it can happen for people. And I may not seem like a guy right now that suffered so deeply, but I promise you, if you knew me before, like, you would be like, I don't know if that guy can make it.
Yeah.
And so if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I support people in that. I go to meetings locally. I think there is recovery for people that seek it. And it is available for us all the time.
That is so beautiful and powerful. And
Thank
it
you.
shows again too that you don't, like, there's a community out there, and there's hope too. And on the other side, you can make anything happen.
Certainly can.
Yeah.
And when I stay sober and put sobriety first, like, I'm not close to drinking anymore, and I will never use again. And I even quit smoking cigarettes. I quit everything, and it's not something that I would ever even consider anymore. But we talk about it in the program. Like, even though we're far away from a drink, you can still relapse emotionally.
Yes.
And that includes, like, being angry and resentful, and, like, all those negative things that come with the addiction, or that come with everyday life. It doesn't just have to be
everyday
about addiction.
stressors can creep in and change
it
that
can,
emotional
and it can
state.
eat away at
Yeah.
us, right? And for some reason, I was born with amplified feelings, and that's what pushed me into alcoholism and addiction for a long time. And I just celebrated, actually, 14 years clean and sober on March 5th.
Oh,
Congratulations.
That's
Congratulations.
amazing, Curtis.
It's been amazing. My wife is very supportive, and my daughter will never see me drink.
I love that.
It's pretty cool.
That's-
Yeah, it feels good.
Do you find, it sounds like she's 7 and you've been sober for 14 years.
Yes.
Do you feel that her being born around the 7-year mark was like an extra push to continue staying sober, or were you really steady where you were at?
Very steady.
That's really awesome.
I was really fortunate to be around a bunch of really great people
Yeah.
early on in my recovery, and, like, the obsession was lifted from me a long time ago, and then it was just more of like wow, I can't wait to continue this.
Yeah.
My daughter is born, and I get to be like the man that I wanted to be.
I love that.
And I can show her that I can be sober, and now she doesn't have to know everything about my past right now. And as she gets older, she'll know, but she just knows that her daddy doesn't drink alcohol. I don't drink beer and wine. And she asked me why recently, which I thought was really interesting. And it's so neat to watch these small little brains that
They're smarter than
they
we
are
think.
so much smarter. And she asked me why for the first time a few months ago. And I said, Daddy doesn't like himself when he drinks. And
Goosebumps.
That's what's gonna make
Yeah.
me cry.
yeah. And so I don't, and I get to, and I always tell her that I choose not to on purpose, because I think it does make me a better person, and it can make you a better person if that's what you decide as well.
Yeah.
And I don't need to tell her that she never has to, because I'll just be an example.
Yeah.
Another,
Yeah,
like, just like I try to be in the community, I can be at home.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's also really beautiful to not, like, you choosing to tell that truth too is important, because some people might come up with other excuses or might not sit with the fact that it's daddy doesn't like himself when he drinks. Like that is, there's like a heaviness to it, but in a really special way because it is a truth, right?
Yeah.
And I think children pick up on it when we try and edge or curve around what the truth actually is.
Yeah, it shows that I made a choice.
Yeah, a very
to
conscious.
be away from it. Yeah, it's like I'm aware of this and I get to choose. And so hopefully maybe that gets to transfer into her and we'll see what happens.
I feel like that's, again, another like character trait, I guess, that really defines you and the way that you carry yourself and the way that you interact with this community and the people around you, and just that you are able to be that honest with yourself and about yourself, because I feel like that's something that not everyone is able to do, which really reflects in the way that you connect with people and the relationships you have here.
When it comes down to it, I'm sober first, and then Curtis the entrepreneur. Well, Curtis the dad, of course. That's first, and the husband and the entrepreneur. But that stuff comes first for me because it has to.
Absolutely.
It's what allows me to do everything else.
In addition to being an entrepreneur and all of the other beautiful things that you do, especially and like speaking in 8 different countries, that's
crazy.
so cool.
Spoken in
So cool.
3 different countries, attended meetings in 8.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But still super
All
super
over
cool.
Europe, Iceland, Cayman Islands a couple of times, Vienna, Austria,
Pretty cool.
Copenhagen, Denmark. Yeah, it's
Amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But in addition to all the like things that you do on top of just entrepreneurship, which is a huge thing, do you take time for yourself? And like, if you are able to take time, what are your kind of go-to things that you do?
Oh, hobbies. Hobbies. I work out. I love working out. I go to the gym. I chose to live a lifestyle of fitness a few years ago. And I actually hit a physical bottom when I actually couldn't hardly get off the ground, like on one leg. Like if I was kneeling on the ground, I couldn't stand up. I always thought that I was this big burly man, like everything's fine, I'm a strong guy. But I did not feel strong in that moment. And I've been flirting with like going to the gym, and this online trainer guy who ended up being a great friend of mine, his name is Coach Derek Stark. We've been messaging back and forth, and I had mentioned to my wife that like I think I'm going to hire this trainer, and that like went directly along with my recovery. Like we're trying to be humble humans, we're trying to learn a lot about ourselves and be 1% better every single day. And I just did that. I showed up. Yeah. And I love working out. I can push some pretty good weight these days. I'm not the strongest dude in the gym, but I do feel strong. And so I haven't made room for a lot more things since that because I'm just enjoying it so much. I would love to be the guy that can say that, oh yeah, I love to go whitewater rafting all the time. And I love riding my bike and stuff too. But they're because of the busy entrepreneur lifestyle and I want to be a present dad, like I get to choose. And I'm okay with that. I also have a few hobbies of like collections. I collect knives, and that's not a great.
Hey, you're a chef.
I'm allowed.
You're allowed.
And they're a write-off, by the way, Lenka. I like to collect.
That's so cool.
Chef knives. I don't know why. I've
No,
always loved
that's
sharp
really
things.
cool.
And burning meat and the gym, and that's what I'm going to stick to for right now.
Love it.
That's awesome.
But those
and
are great
obsessing about
hobbies.
Porsches.
Yeah.
Something like I want a 911 so bad, and I'm just.
I love it. So, being in the community for as long as you have, I feel like you've got a few local favorites or businesses that you want to shout out. Who would they be?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to leave somebody out and they'll be upset. No, I've got a whole bunch. I would like to thank everybody that goes to the Picton Farmers Market in the summertime. Every single vendor there is awesome. We've got, I mean, I don't know. I can't say a specific bread supplier because I use so many of them, but everybody that makes bread in Prince Edward County is amazing. Vicky's Veggies has been so good to me. She is awesome. The Queen of Milford. She's just the best. Supplies the best fresh herbs, constantly gives like the best varieties of vegetables. It's always so fresh. It's so great. I go to Hagerman Farms quite a bit. We do Honey Wagon Farm quite a bit. We do laundries all the time and as much as possible. That's probably where I stick to mostly.
I feel like that's just one of the many things that I love about this community is how like accessible and available really fresh everything. Like there's local butcher shops, there's local vegetables, there's local fruit, there's local everything you can get at local, which is so amazing. Cool.
And his package, amazing bread, like just excellent bread. And then because I'm saying peckish, I should say Elmbrook Farms, like another excellent sourdough. They're awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love it. His
love
list is long of favorites.
It could just
It's
keep, I could
amazing.
keep going.
If you had one last meal, what would it be?
Probably charcoal chicken from my family reunion.
Yes.
A very large wood-fired cooked rib steak. Double stuffed potatoes from my mom, like back in the day.
So
And then there's like this pork tenderloin dish that my grandmother used to make, my Nana, whose casserole that I still make to this day in the catering company. It's Nana's potato casserole. I would take her pork dish on that. So we would have chicken, beef, and pork on this.
Love it. Love it.
And no vegetables.
Hey.
Just if potatoes count as vegetables,
Yeah.
then that's it.
Count them.
Maybe a tomato.
Beautiful.
There we go.
A tomato,
A
just
Vicky's
one.
tomato with just some good salt in it.
Love it.
And that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah. That sounds, I mean, it's a good
Awesome.
protein-filled
Yeah.
meal, too.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
getting
Good to
goals.
go.
Right
Yeah.
after
We
the
were
gym.
in protein goals.
Then you're going to the gym. Thank you
Right.
so much for coming.
Yes, we're
and
so
joining.
happy.
This is great. I appreciate it so much. I'm
Yeah.
honored.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
I was actually going to start it by being like, oh, hello, hi.
Oh.